So it's January, I was going to say July, because the sun's up, but it's not July. It's January 24th, and I'm going to put my little warm bean bag under here, so I'll stay warmer. And James is just going to have dessert. He already ate dinner, so he's going to have an Nanaimo bar, and I'm having just coffee, which I got for free from the Salvation Army Furniture Depot. A friend of mine makes coffee there in the morning, and I go chat with him. And I just haven't drank it yet today, so I heat it up and I'm gonna drink it. So I watched this Studio C Greatest Sketches, and I think the C stands for Christian. It's really honestly, it felt like it felt like they were a Mormon comedy group, which I don't know if they are, but there was, you know how there's a lot of coarse language and really, I mean, the things in comedy today are quite shocking sometimes, but there was none of that in here. But it was funny, and I did enjoy, there was the violent stuff of the, like the first sketch was the funniest, the one with the soccer player, and he keeps getting hit in the face with the soccer ball. He's a goalie, and anyway, so that was the funniest, and I mean, it is violent. He keeps getting hit with, and we shouldn't laugh at things like that, but we all do. It's reality. So anyway, now I don't know, I guess I'll do it in this order because this is the stack. So Saving My Tomorrow is an HBO documentary that runs for 180 minutes. It starts out interviewing children who are speaking to save the environment. They seem to still think their great-grandchildren will be inheriting the earth, even if it's just a big garbage dump. Of a planet in the end. When will they finally realize that they were never meant to inherit anything? They are being starved out, and they aren't even doing anything to prevent the inevitable final solution. Stop having more children to pollute and fill garbage dumps. Instead, they keep having children to do call-and-response protests against pollution. When protesters do this sort of leader and follower activity, it just shows that they are not capable of thinking for themselves or redirecting the inevitable path towards the dark future. As I watch this documentary, I see that the children are doing as good a job on this issue as adults would. This realization can only make an honest person see how hopeless the situation is. The adults protest in the same kind of call-and-response fashion. The child protesters sing a Joni Mitchell song, and no one seems to see that chanting at demonstrations and singing songs isn't saving my tomorrow. What did Joni Mitchell sing about paradise being paved? Or when did she sing about paradise being paved? I'd always hated how she laughed at the end of the song as if it was a joke. Now I see that such a song is a joke, and I think that is exactly what she was suggesting by laughing at the end of the song. Songs won't save paradise from being paved, yet this documentary shows kids making up new songs and talking about how they think it'll cause positive change. It's like they believe they're writing magical spells and setting the magic free with their song. All they have to do is say that they love nature, and so they can keep using it in the way that suits them, and it'll never degrade. There are many people, each wanting to exploit nature in their own way, and they keep having more children, and so more people to exploit the environment, and they sing songs, and they plant a small garden which cannot support their needs, and sing some more songs and toss some yard waste into a composter. They do this all without seeing the truth. Most of their food is coming from the grocery store, not their small garden. They are composting, but still send garbage to the dump and bus fulls of things to the recyclers. Instead, they write songs demanding that other people save my polar bear for me. It might be more appropriate for them to sing, save the polar bears from me. The man speaking to the children about bird species extinction suggests you can get a job in conservation. That'll be a great thing. Are the people employed in conservation fields serving themselves or the environment? They did manage to save the eagle from extinction. I worked a bit with mountain pine beetle when employed as an IPM tech. It soon became clear that although the spread of the beetle created a lot of jobs for a brief time, no number of preventative measures like pheromone pouches stapled to trees were going to prevent the spread. The Rocky Mountain barrier had been crossed, and the beetles were here and weren't going to be stopped by any IPM techs or entomologists. An overweight boy is telling us that 350 parts per million is the safe level for carbon dioxide, and suggests that we study Venus to find out how to prevent the rise of CO2 in Earth's atmosphere. Then an adult man sings us a song about not wanting to live on Mars. Another overweight boy lectures us about extinction. An overweight girl sits in a lawn chair to rescue sea turtles by talking on her cell phone. You might be the one to change the world. Really? One person will change the whole world? I think boy's been watching too many action hero movies. Don't spit your gum out the window, or a bird could eat it and die. That's an environmental tip from another overweight little girl. The Amazon's trees provide 20% of the world's air, losing 50 soccer fields worth of space every minute. I'm selling lemonade to raise money to buy seeds and plant more trees. A girl shares how she's saving the environment. Sea turtles eat jellyfish, so they see a plastic bag in the water and eat it, thinking it's a jellyfish. Pictures of dead albatross filled with plastic. Those were interesting, really artful looking. Honestly, the kids tied a lot of bags together to see how far they'd spread. I wonder how many bags the wind pulled free while they were parading them around. They got Santa Fe to ban non-renewable plastic bags. My guess is it was just shopping bags and not the bags that manufacturers package cereal, laptops, plastic army men in. North American pica is a really cute rodent that needs to keep cool. They keep retreating up the mountain. They make a really cute eek squeal. I think it's funny that they showed the Virginia-Kentucky border. The sign had buckshot all over it. People had obviously been aiming at the picture of the cardinal on it. Then they showed us a bunch of snails. Snail venom shuts down pain in fish right away. Fish don't move or react, so snail can eat it. People are using snail venom in HIV research and such. Biodiversity, an ant for you, an elephant for me, a man sings. An overweight girl writes Hands magazine, Help Animals Now Society, which is basically they were just printing off a big color photo of an animal, and they didn't really seem to know much about any animal. Anyway, but the kids are learning a little about soon-to-be extinct animals while they print big pictures off of them, I guess. What they learnt and report is pretty superficial. Superficial learning results in superficial action. One oyster can filter 50 gallons of water each day. 89% of the world's natural oyster reefs have been lost. The kids tell us to pick up the trash we see laying around. If we don't, we're trash. How about figuring out where the trash is coming from and stopping the creation of the trash in the first place? People's Climate Change March, 400,000 people with signs got a little exercise. Coal seam gas mining, fracking, called CSG. Chemicals seep into groundwater and rivers, etc. 98.6% of people in a girls' community rejected CSG, and then they wrote a song about it. And fracking continues. The 1967 Hudson River video clips were informative. This series is a much watch, so viewers can see just how doomed we are. That's my write-up on that. I'm sure people won't like to hear that one.
The butterfly effect,
Yep. So, where do I have this? Oh boy, I've been doing some crazy things with my write-ups. Where is it? I have to try to find where I put the stuff about Koko the gorilla, because I obviously didn't put it. Oh, there we go. Koko the gorilla who talks. James watched this one with me. PBS documentary, BBC Earth. I should set this up here because you should definitely watch this one. Boop. It's only an hour long. 1971, graduate student Penny Patterson taught Koko Sign Language to scientists who'd studied Nim. The chimpanzee hadn't had the level of success with Nim that Penny had with Koko, and turned the entire scientific community against ape communication as a concept, it's disgusting, really. He was being very unscientific about it. Anyhow, he was judging from a sample of 1, his own study subject. Koko obviously understands how to communicate using sign language. I mean, we saw her in this video. She was, when she was communicating about the cat, it was obvious. She wasn't being prompted at all. She was communicating very clearly.
It was basically just echolalia, repeating what was said with the hands.
Yeah,
I didn't realize Nim was a chimp. This is a gorilla here.
Yeah.
And orangutans are different from chimps. But so he's not just sampling from, generalizing from a sample of 1. He's generalizing from a sample of 1 species, and there's a bunch of wow.
So anyway,
and Nim is in the literature. It's all over the linguistics text. So
yeah, that's what they're going by now. But you watch Koko and you understand. If you don't, you're lying to yourself. Anyway, Koko obviously understands how to communicate using sign language. When she was talking about the cat, there were no prompts at all. Penny in the project let Koko in the future of multi-generational communication of apes and sign language down by not artificially inseminating her. Koko kept asking for a baby and being denied. That was wrong. Having said that, Penny did an excellent job with Koko in so many ways. Like, I'm not saying
we don't know what sort of resources she personally has.
I have no idea. And she was trying. She did give her the opportunity to mate with a couple, probably very attractive. I don't know. I bet you
they were studly gorillas.
They were probably very handsome. Yeah. And she did not do it. Koko did not want to mate. She just wanted a baby. So I don't see why that couldn't have been provided for. I don't see what the problem was.
I mean, it's hard to say.
I don't know.
There might have been technical difficulties or something like that. Anyway.
I don't know.
Anyway,
because then Koko could have taught the baby, and there would have been theoretically a lot more progress in that field.
There's
anyway,
a possibility.
Yeah. So I'm gonna show you this one now.
But it was a pretty good documentary.
It was very good. You should watch it. There were a lot of things that I've learned about Koko that were not explained, but what can you explain in an hour? I mean,
Well, they left out the fact that Koko didn't think those gorillas were studly enough. She thought one of her keepers, a male keeper with a beard, was studly or something like that.
Anyway.
You'd seen that or heard that somewhere else.
You can learn about Koko on your own if you look up.
Yeah.
So, that's okay. So, I watched Hannibal. I've watched the whole series now of Season 1, Season 2, and Season 3. So, basically, Season 1, you have this, you're introduced to the agents because they're studying this one serial killer. He's killing he's killing, and he's using all of the body parts. He's eating his victims, but it's out of respect. So he's killing out of respect, which is, you then think about this during the season, because Hannibal is not like that. He does not respect his victims at all. He kills them because he sees them as pigs. They're just livestock to him. They are not as intelligent as him. He realizes this, and he's just, they're there for maybe his amusement or food. They're not, other people are not humans to Hannibal. So anyway, I'll just read what I have here for Season 2. That was an excellently crafted season. I should have seen that Abigail was still alive at the end. Oh dear, I'm giving it away. We saw that the FBA trainee was able to stay alive without her arm, so why not Abigail without the ear? Honestly, I didn't see it coming though. Someone should do a study on this series. The symbolism is impressive. Hannibal, Christian devil villain masquerading as the horned god. It's simply Will's vision of reality, or is this a reality created by Hannibal? Do all of Hannibal's patients see Hannibal in the same way? Does it matter? He persuades them to be their dark selves, or in Abigail's case, the obedient victim. Does he really though? Perhaps the victims and the killers are drawn to each other. Abigail's father ate who he killed out of respect. Hannibal does not respect his victims. They're pigs to him. In the end, the victims are both murdered and eaten though. Hannibal season 3, and I wrote this in a really weird way. It's was creepy, well done, camera work was impressive, the close-up bits made it all the more atmospheric, truly disturbing, and says a lot about people today and where things are heading. The most important part of this season's Hannibal is a discussion about cannibalism, which takes place within the first episode. Okay, so I have to let you know who this is. So this is between Hannibal and his victim in the first part of season 3 was actually from earlier on. So this is just a flashback, and you don't realize it if you just pop into season 3, but it is. He's already dead by that point. And so the season 3 is really what wraps everything up. It explains what's going on with the whole season. So I would say watch it from the beginning, season 1 all the way, and season 3 will just blow your mind. So anyway, this guy's name is Abel, and he had been the victim, had been convinced by a psychiatrist that he was seeing that he was the killer who was responsible for like Hannibal's killing. So they'd given him a name, it does not matter what, but the FBI agents and so on, they thought, okay, well, Hannibal's not going to like this guy, he's going to see him as an imposter who's taking credit for his work, sort of thing, and well, he ended up eating him. So he was not respectful of this guy. So anyway, cannibalism was standard behavior among our ancestors. The missing link was only missing because we ate him. Hannibal. This isn't cannibalism, Abel. It's only cannibalism if we're equals. It's only cannibalism if you eat me. But you just feel this is the natural order of things. Everybody gets it. Hannibal. Be fat or be healing? With my last leg standing next to me, I should still wrestle the urges to fight or flee. Hannibal. It's called terminal restlessness. The body fills with adrenaline and feels compelled to go, go, go. Go, go, go. I've already gone. This is posthumous. Hannibal, you're not dead yet. Abel, you still have to eat. No, I don't. At this point, there's absolutely nothing I have to do. But I shouldn't spoil the fairy tale. Should I? You and your little gingerbread house. Hannibal, let it be a fairy tale then. Once upon a time. And the scene cuts to show Hannibal at a fancy dress ball dancing with a beautiful companion. And the story is told. The second most important part of the season occurs in the final episode, the final discussion between Hannibal and Will, and then the closing image. This should be watched twice to be fully understood and appreciated. Seriously, season 3 is amazing. What is the dynamic between Hannibal and his beautiful companion? Notice that he asks her permission to dress. She tells him how and when they will be parting. She feels fairly secure in her assessment that he will not eat her without her permission. In the end, who is left to eat the dragon or the devil? Hannibal's food, Abel, called him the devil. Later, there is a discussion about hell and the devil used to swallow people. A dinner guest notices that Hannibal's wife isn't eating meat. Bedelia, that's his wife. I'm trying not to eat anything with the central nervous system. Anthony. Oysters, acorns, and masala, that's what the ancient Romans would feed animals to improve their flavor. Bedelia says, my husband has a sophisticated palate. He's very particular about the way I taste. So, I mean, this isn't for the faint of heart, this series. It's truly disturbing, and it's brilliant. So I think everyone should watch it. It's amazing. And I wanted to do this review about Hannibal after I've reviewed Wicca, because people, they watch things like this and they think, oh, well, it's, you know, they see the horned beast imagery, right? And they're thinking, but he's referred to as the devil. Nothing to do with Wicca. This is, anyway. So that's that. Oh, almost lost my beanbag.